Hey, you're on the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. It's Sunday, October 8th, 2017. I want to talk to you about sex change operations. No. Not how to get one, not even why that's going on. But did you know that more and more people are regretting their transition? And so they are going to these doctors and they are wanting to have all that undone. They even have a name for it. It's called detransitioning. Well, the British Telegraph reports that Bath Spa University initially approved a professor's research grant to study detransitioning transgendered individuals. It's a complex and complicated operation. It is a very expensive operation. Professor James Caspian is a psychotherapist whose specialty is transgendered individuals. In 2014, Caspian had a conversation with a Professor Georgievic, Russian, I can't pronounce it right, that kind of sparked his curiosity. Now, this is 3 years ago. Georgievic is a world-leading genital reconstructive surgeon. And he is convinced that the number of individuals who undergo sex change operations regret their decision. Not only that they actually want to change back to their biological gender. His observation is that this situation is on the rise. It's 3 years ago. In an effort to forestall this eventuality, Dvorak practices strict guidelines requiring his potential patients to go through a rigorous psychological evaluation that lasts nearly 2 years before he will do this. They also have to provide 2 professional recommendations that show why they're making such a safe and proper decision. Other clinics, the doctor notes, do not practice this. They simply require some kind of a check, somewhat superficial based on what he does, evaluation. With so little understood about the long-term effects of sex change surgery, Professor Caspian wanted to understand the extent and reasons why patients decide to change back. Now, initially, the university, Bath Spa University, approved the funding. But as his findings started to evolve, the university's ethics committee voted to defund the research. Why? Well, according to them, the fundamental reason given was that it might cause criticism of the research on social media. And criticism of the research would be criticism of the university, ergo, it's better just not to offend people. Are you getting this? I'm born a boy. I decide I'd really rather be a girl. They now have surgery that allows me to do that. I'm still not going to have a baby, but I can look the part. If I decide I made a mistake, they actually can reverse it. But now we're worried about social media. What is so wrong about reversing this surgery? The person moved from one gender to another gender. Now they want to go back. Whoa, that is not politically correct. Well, they're a girl. They want to be a boy. Yeah, but they started out a boy. That makes the difference. See how logical that is? It's not, is it? Here at home, WorldNet Daily reported last week that the Trump administration is planning to spend hundreds of thousands of your dollars on transgender research, even though the president opposes the expenditures. They're still planning to do it. In August, Trump rescinded an Obama-era policy allowing the military to recruit transgender people. I say thank you. The president also banned the Department of Defense from using its resources to provide medical regimens for transgenders currently serving in the military, citing medical costs as the primary driver of this particular decision. In February, the Trump administration ended Obama's order that public schools open their bathrooms and locker rooms to people according to gender identity. I say I'm a girl. I get to go in the girls' locker room and shower. He said, there's something wrong with that. See? Logic. The administration concluded that the transgender bathroom issue should be determined on the state level. Let the crazies in California and New York and other liberal states, let them do what they want, but give me a break. The Trump administration, however, is still allocating hundreds of thousands of your dollars to research how non-conforming transgender people cope with the stress of being a minority. The federal government is also providing $200,000 to the National Institute of Health to examine children and adults who are transitioning from one gender to another. So what's going on? The issue in all of this expenditure boils down to the health of these people. These surgeries and the things they go through are horrendous. It is looking at the stigma that these people must endure. It's also looking at the high impact of HIV among this group. And it's looking at minority stress, education, employment, violence, homelessness, incarceration. The government says more information is needed on relationships with partners and family, as well as on sexual and reproductive health. Now, along with all this comes the impact of life events, experiences, interventions such as hormone therapy, surgeries are very important. All of this stuff needs to be investigated. What are we doing? How is it impacting these people? How is it impacting our culture? It's also important to learn more about brain development, resilience, and end-of-life issues. It's also important to learn how these people get to this place. And then, of course, why do they want to retreat from it? Judicial Watch investigator Irene Garcia asserts that the Trump administration is spending just as wastefully as the Democrat predecessor. But here's the thing. Did no one consider any of this before they started approving these surgeries? I say they probably did. However, without the surgeries, the data would not be available. So what does that make these transgender surgery patients? It makes them guinea pigs. It's the worst kind of guinea pig, because science knows that this sort of thing does not and cannot work. We can alter the plumbing, but that's about it. Everything else about these poor souls is at risk, and we're willing to do it. Well, basically because we've rejected biblical, social, and physical absolutes by which all human beings live. Who does such a thing? Answer: monsters. Who listens to a human being who is clearly in trouble psychologically, emotionally, physiologically, or relationally? Who listens to that person who says, I think I was born wrong, I need to be the other thing, and then sets out to spend $50,000 to alter every system in their body almost so that they can look like, in every particular, the gender that they choose to be, without considering the damage to that person on every level. These people are trying to study why transgenders want to go back, and the university is saying no, because that's too embarrassing to us. It's going to have a backlash on social media that will impact the school, and we can't have that. Who is it that says it's okay to do these surgeries, spend all this money, and then later on say it's okay that we'll spend the money and we'll put it back? And somewhere in between all of that, as the statistics indicate, these people suffer emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. These people end up being abused on a lot of different levels. As has been indicated, one of the problems has to do with sexually transmitted diseases, which means these people are having sex in a way the body is not designed to do it. Or these people are just constantly doing this with all different kinds of people. When is a society going to wake up and realize that the one true God of heaven knew what he was doing? That sex is only safe between a man and a woman, and that the marriage commitment is actually a safety mechanism against horrendous disease and damage to these people who don't want to listen, don't want to live that way. And why is it that we have a growing number of governments who are willing to spend millions and billions of dollars to mollify these people, to protect these people, to heal these people, and maybe even put them back the way they were, and all the rest? Why are we so willing to, if you want to do this, pay for it. Well, I want my insurance company to pay for it. I'm on an insurance company in a place to make a decision about that. We ain't doing this. Not going to happen. You go in the military, and the government will do it for you. It is a sick world that somehow is starting to wake up to the realization that if you stick your hand in the fire, you're probably going to have a problem. Stay tuned.